So let us start the session.
We request you to keep your
Alright.
videos on, please.
Yeah. So for Omkara, please sit in a comfortable position, keeping your back erect, your shoulders slightly back, your chin parallel to the floor. Keep your eyes closed. Just be with your breath. For Omkara, take a deep breath and start. Inhale. Inhale. Very slowly and very gently open your eyes and just be relaxed. This is the fourth day of the lectures that we have started in connection with the International Yoga Day, Swami Vivekananda Yoga Kendra, which was founded a decade back by Dr. Jagdish Naik. Since then, we had been imparting yoga knowledge and many courses in connection with S. Vyasa Bangalore. This time now we have also, Sir had been recently anointed as Yogi Satya Chaitanya by Swami Vidyananda Ji from Pondicherry. We have a course coming up now, the Yoga Volunteer course, which is by Ayush Ministry. You will be you will become a volunteer after that with Ayush Ministry. Your name will be registered there. And this course is will be valuable, like you all will be under the ministry's you know, the group, and this course particularly will be helpful for people, those who would like to be a volunteer with the Ayush Ministry. The job or the work will be like for NCC or kind of thing, that when you get in the school or college that you become volunteer. In the same way, you will become a volunteer for yoga practices and for this Yoga International Day or like that. And you will be also like placed anywhere, called anywhere. This is all over the nation, even internationally also. Those who are residing outside India also can be joined in this course and become a volunteer for Ayush Ministry. So for today's we'll come to today's lecture. Today we have a speaker with us is Dr. Saili Dusane Dhodapkar. She is a MD in Ayurveda and has a specialization in pediatrics. She is a yoga teacher too and a evaluator, being done her YCB level 3. YCB level 3 qualifies a person as an evaluator and can be, evaluating others and becoming an examiner. So she has done that. Many congratulations, ma'am, for that. And we welcome you, a very warm welcome to you. And we'll listen to her and know more about her from the talk that she's going to give us. She's going to speak on Trigunas and Tridoshas. So, ma'am, welcome you, and it's all yours.
Thank you. Okay. Just to check for the sound, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Kindly give
Yes.
a thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Vijaya ma'am, for the kind and great introduction. I welcome you all in this webinar by Swami Vivekananda Kendra. And I thank Dr. Jagdish Naik sir, of course the ma'am, and Sharvani Upadhyay, who was my friend, and she's a guru in a kind of mentor guru, we can say, for the meditation related things, which I'm not very much aware of. So thank you to all these three people. Today we'll be discussing the topic which I chose is Triguna and Tridosha, and the connection which I feel, the Triguna and Tridosha connection with each other, and what these two very basic concepts and very important concepts represent, which represent our mind and body as well. So, and which is very practical. The third point which I said, these two concepts of Triguna, Tridosha, and the practical aspect of it. As all of you must be knowing, Guna and Dosha in very common terms, so we say Guna is something good or a property, and Dosha is something bad, which is a fault, we say. But when it comes to the ancient sciences, a dosha over in context with Ayurveda does not stand as the which is a fault. Dosha is not a fault in case of in reference to Ayurveda. Dosha is the one which dushayanti means which vitiates or which disturbs the body elements. And guna is a property, means I am of this guna, means I have this kind of property. It might be good or bad. So we will remember these two basic things while we're discussing, because these terms are going to repeat further. So there should not be, dosha means we have an attitude like, oh, it's dosha means there's something bad with it. So it's not like that. So be comfortable with the doshas as well. Now, Triguna and Tridosha, what are they? The basic thing is like Triguna is Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. Sattva Guna is the one which is of good qualities. Sattva in its real root means a sattva is it is a name given for the mind. Or sattva is which is the extract, or which is the basic, which is the goodness, and which is the impure. Okay, so which is pure. So which is devoid of impurities. This is these characteristics of Sattva Guna has been given, and Sattva Guna personality people have given in Bhagavad Gita. These references are very well given in Bhagavad Gita as well. And the dosha related part, three dosha means Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These three things has been very much elaborated in the Ayurveda. So as far as our today's topic is concerned, we will be discussing the connection between Triguna and Tridosha. So these concepts basically are related with they are related to our personality, how we are. So if I ask you all a question that who we are actually, because every story starts from there. So we are basically a body and a mind. Mind, we should say it a mind, but in a very particular way, it is called as Antakarana. We should not name it as the mind as such, but for the discussing point of view, we are our body and mind. I hope you all must be agreeing to all this. That yes, we have a body and there is something, some apparatus which thinks of, okay, and we listen to that thing and then we take some actions. So I hope you, in a very simple language, you will agree to this. So why I took this topic for the discussion is body equals to three dosha. Your body is made up of three dosha. Everything in your body, right from your hair till your toe, everything is made up of three dosha. You'll say how? So everything in the body is made up of these three things, which is like a compound. The individual contents of the compound cannot be taken or taken out or separated. It's not a mixture of these doshas. And these three doshas, which are the doshas Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, they make our body, and they are so much mixed into each other that they cannot be separated. We say, I've got a cough. Like, so if we spit out the cough, means the cough has gone from the body, right? This is what we have in our mind, but that's not true. Cough is a formative content of our body. I'll give you a very simple example. If we say protein, so if I take some protein in the form of milk, and if I vomit out milk, so that protein which has been taken is totally vomited out. Is it like that? No. So that part, some part remains in our body. It is a formative content of our body. Like the proteins are called as the building blocks. Example point of view I'm giving. We will keep that example aside. So kapha, when we spit out, is just a representative part of that formative component. Someone has a question. So should we take the questions right now or at the end?
At the end, ma'am. We'll take it at the end. Please, everybody. Yes, we'll give the time to ask in the after the.
Yeah, lecture. I saw a hand raised over here. So yeah, sure. Anyone who has the question, we can discuss it at the end of the session, because these being the basic concept, yes, relating it to the practical aspect could raise many questions. So we were discussing about that, what the dosha concept is. So in short, we can understand our body is made up of three doshas, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I will describe what Vata is, what Pitta is, and what Kapha is, which is an obvious question you might get. In a very brief thing, Vata dosha is considered as any movement in the body. So if you see an object, you see towards the light. So you were actually reading some paper and you saw towards the light. So this simple movement could also be means any movement in the body, any thought, anything traveling from here and there is movement. We all can agree to this. So this concept is any movement in the body is Vata. Means if you will ask, oh, so if I drink water and that water goes inside my stomach, it automatically goes. After you gulp a sip of water, you cannot do anything with it, right? So that water traveling in the body, that is also a movement, is it? You going for a washroom, you're doing toilet. Is it a movement? Yes, some content, some waste content is getting out of the body. It's a Vata. Then, so any movement, any smallest secretion in the body as well, in the macroscopic level, means on the gross level, as well as the subtle level, it is a movement. So a thought means, oh, you feel, right, that you are thinking about that, suppose a thing continuously, you're giving the thought. So is it a movement? Can you consider it as a movement? Movement of something, shifting from something to something. It's a movement. So any movement at the gross level or subtle level inside the body is called as Vata dosha. This is the most practical aspect of Vata dosha. So there are multiple facets of this. Second concept is of Pitta. Pitta, everyone means many people know I have acidity. So people usually relate Pitta to the acidity, but which is very partially true. So acidity is something which comes up, or you feel that burning sensation. So Pitta is the heat energy. It's a part, it's an energy which transforms. Transforms what? Means suppose some people today suppose have done the lunch of roti sabzi. So that roti which you took in. So can you see, I also had a roti sabzi today. So can you see the roti over your hand or somewhere on your body which you ate in the lunch? No, means that roti does not directly attaches to a skin, or anything which you take does not get attached to the formative means body parts directly.
You will of course agree to this because
formed into something. You got that? Means that roti got churned, it went into small particles, and that very small, the nutrients were absorbed. You agree till this? Are you with me? Yes. So that roti which you ingested went from, she went on a journey, that roti went on a journey from gross to subtle part. Is it? So that subtle particles and the subtle most, that nutrients were sucked from that roti and they were formed. And our skin, our body, everything, skin and all the bones, all the mucous membranes, our organs, they are being nourished. The blood, they are being nourished by that roti. But how? Is it grossly? No, it got transformed. Who transformed it? We say it's the digestive juices, but there are transformation of the thoughts as well. Is it? We change our opinions sometimes, either forcefully or by our will. So any transformation, either at the body level, is Pitta. So first, what we saw, any movement is Vata. Any movement, body level. Second, any transformation, we call it as a fancy term is there is biotransformation. Everything is biotransformation, because unless and until it is biological, how we will able to grasp it? So, but we will keep that debate aside. But any transformation in the body from the gross part to the subtle part is a Pitta karma. Okay, and the third part is of Kapha. What is Kapha? Kapha is a very tricky part, and please try to keep aside the concept of Kapha, which you spit out aside for a while, because the Kapha which we are talking right now is a technical term. Some of you might be knowing what is the technical term is the term which has been explained in that specific context. It's not that context which we use in day-to-day life. So Kapha here is anything that holds on. Anything that holds on means, suppose you increase in the age, right? Like from the childhood, from your young age, then your old age. You certainly get transformed by some aspects, but can you agree that there are some parts of our body and as well as some impressions on our mind of the physical things or our own mental thoughts, they change? No, we do not transform totally, but that's something which we carry on something, right? We hold on something. So anything which holds on in the body, sticks it together, compiles it, bears it, be there means a component in the body which holds on the things together, which is called as Kapha. So Kapha, which we spit out, is a partial part of that function. So I told you, which is holding on something, carrying on is a kapha thing. To simplify it, I will give an example of which means, suppose some people have very good holding on capacity. So they can bear any disease as well. They can bear, we use this term very frequently, that I have a good immunity. This term is very popular these days. I have a very good immunity. I can bear any disease. I can even bear I came out of the COVID as well. And there are such people. So a bearing capacity to help to fight with the attack and to hold on. So that carrying on capacity is a function, a very subtle function of kapha. So anything which binds, anything which holds on in the body is kapha. So these are some very practical aspects of vata, pitta, and kapha. Within this discussion, you must have noted that we discussed at the body level, means at the gross level, which you can feel, means this finger. It is made up of vata, pitta, and kapha as well, because it has a movement, and whatever I'm eating, the nutrition, this finger is not dead. It's getting some nutrition through the blood, right? And it's not getting from where it is getting a nutrition? Through this finger, through the blood, and through whatever I'm eating. So there is a transformation. So the pitta component is there, and of course it's my finger, so it has not suddenly changed to some different kind of finger. So it's holding on, and I am able to see the shape of my finger, the type of my finger properly from the since when I'm able to recognize it as this is a finger or something, right? So holding on the type, you can literally judge, right? A finger, my index finger and someone else's index finger is going to be different, but my index finger will be the same as it is. So carrying on is also there, holding on is there, right? So these three components are present as they are present in my finger, they are present everywhere in the body. So body, any part of the body, as well as the internal organs, they are made up of three doshas. So this, whatever I explained, some people might have, I don't know how many are following with it, but these things, if you see from this specs, from these spectacles, you will see the world differently. You will see the world that these three functions happen everywhere. So same functions happening at the mind level. We discussed the body part. At the mind level, first we discussed the vata. So any movement at the mind level is rajoguna. Any stability, any inertia, any holding on is a tama. Tama is usually seen as a very negative characteristic, but keep that characteristics away for a while. So anything holding on, bearing, pulling down, inertia is tama at the mind level, at the thought level. And anything which we get to know, suppose I'm explaining a concept and I experienced this. The lady which is talking said, and I experienced this. Yes. So you got to know, click hona jo bolte hai, कि मुझे click हुआ, I got to know. Yes. किसी को और कैसे भी समझना होता, but till you don't get that satisfaction unless and until you yourself don't get to know. So someone explaining the concept and you transformed it into your mind, and there was eureka. Oh, I got to know. Yes. So anything jnana, knowledge, you got the knowledge of it. Suppose someone is saying, I have this. This is of gray color, which I am able to see. A person, yeah, yes, it's a gray color. So he identifying this is of gray color. It's the knowledge. Knowledge in simple parts. Knowledge is not something like we consider, books is the knowledge, anything great wisdom. Anything which we get to know, we understand is knowledge. Yes? How to, so that thing at the mind level, which we gain as a knowledge is, you can easily guess, it's a sattva. So so dynamic to see if through these specs that our body, literally our mind works in this fashion. Our mind ground, we will call it as a mind ground, and we will call the body as a body ground. So these three friends, Sattva, Raja, and Tama, they are the mind, actually, in real sense. Sattva, Raja, Tama, if we mingle them, that syrup will be our mind. And if we mingle Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, it's a body. So easy, The creator was very, very, very simple. These concepts are very simple. We make it very complicated. So through the reference of Bhagavad Gita, we have arrived till the basic concepts of what Triguna and Tridosha are. So this was the first point I had wanted to tell all of you. The second main point is everything around us is made up of these three gunas. This is a statement not I am making. This is a statement made by Lord Krishna long back. So if you will see with this, our food, our habits, they are all made up of these three gunas. You will say, how? Oh, how? Suppose you say, many of you must be liking pani puri, golgappe, or bhel, or something spicy, pakode. So the food which we take, which gives a movement to the intestines also, or something which increases, we will call it as pitta dosha in the body, is called as a rajasika food. Are you following with me? Are you there? Yes. Means there is no documentation. Oh, this comes under sattvic, this comes under the rajasic, but it is more of in our traditions. Believe me. Do you give, means there might be mothers as well. Of course, many people would have seen children. Do we give very heavy food to directly a child of 6-7 months? No, we know that it is not good for him. We usually try to give very sattvic food, sattvic food to the child. For what? Because that will help him for a good growth. Then when we become adult, then we eat something here and there. Means the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, these are everywhere. They are everywhere in our lifestyle. So what to opt? Whether to opt for sattvic, because sattvic, everyone says it's a good thing. So you are supposed to opt sattvic, but your journey will start from rajasic and tamasic part, because we live in this unstable world, because we are made up of three guna. Actually, the aim of our yogic sciences is to go beyond triguna. You neither want good, we get fed up of good things also. Some people might agree with me. No, too much of good, too much of sweet. No. So going beyond goodness as well is samatva. Being stable in bad also, and if anything happens against the mind also, and in favor also. So going beyond triguna is actually a yoga, being stable. The not tama wala stable, not tama like stable or inertia or stubborn, but a energetic stable, doing everything, but the fruit not getting attached to the fruit. So these aspects, they are at the mind level. So we will start our journey from rajasic and tamasic level, right from your food, right from your postures, right from your activities, right from your actions, right from your decisions, right from your mistakes, everything around you. Anything like you wearing clothes, the colors, everything could be classified into only these three things. Very simple, but very deep. The great things are very simple. So, these three things, you can classify anyone into these things as well. Oh, anyone? If we are talking about people, it's not considered good to talk about people. We should talk about ideas, but we usually judge people of course, in good and bad ways as well, but we will see the good ways. Like a person coming in contact with you, we judge, oh, useful, not useful, oh, great, safe or not. So we subconsciously as well judge people. So we can judge from the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic way. So how a sattvic person is? Sattvic person is one who gives knowledge, takes knowledge, and let the other people take knowledge of anything. No, hiding, stealing, or competing is a rajasic quality. And not doing anything, pramadam, alasyam, not getting motivated, procrastinating. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Yes. Oh, it has came. Oh, so these are the tamasic qualities. Okay. So we have experienced at a different levels that, oh, we do go from, I mean, I'm talking, but I'm of course a Trigunatmak person, so I have also gone through that. So we go through these qualities, but our aim, everyone wants to be. Why you are in this webinar? Because everyone wants to be sattvic. You are going for a good thing, right? You want, because that is our nature. That is our prakriti. That is our nature to go towards the sattvika thing. And our real nature is to go beyond Trigona. That is the aim of yoga and stabilizing your mind. Oh, you want to stabilize your mind? You need to stabilize your posture first, because everything starts from your journey will start from the tama. So what is tama? The body, you being in this form itself is a tamoguna. So do you really agree that your posture matters? Yes, 101% your posture matters. If I say it like this, you will, what clicks in your mind? Oh, no, arrogant person. You know, if someone is sitting and giving a look like this, of course, we will say, you will not welcome that person as a person who is giving, lot of yawning and all. You will get away from it. A person who is very energetic, smiling, welcoming, actively listening to you, you will get attracted to that person. Your shoulders are straight, your hands are open, and you're ready to talk. You're leaning towards a person, makes you talk to that person. Really. If you're not noticed, do notice it. So this postural things, they matter so much so. There are a lot of business people, they do their judgments on these. But in our day-to-day life, we ourselves can use these postural corrections to stabilize our mind. And why to stabilize our mind? To get the calmness, to get the happiness, of being good and being well. You all must be doing meditation, doing yogasanas. Why you do it? Oh, to get away from COVID, or COVID nahi hona chahiye. So why do you do exercises, or just to get just not to get infected? No, I don't think so. I think some people might be, but to get well, to be good, healthy is everyone's aim. So to attain this healthiness at the body level and superiorly at the mind level, it lies in your diet and posture. To summarize the discussion, this Trigunatmak things, how to summarize it means you will ask, okay, a lot of philosophy, but how to do it? Do it in the diet form and in the posture form, or in your action form. Rather than postures, we will call it as action forms. From how to change the diet. So it's a very tricky question. I would like to suggest a diet or a food, I'll say it, not diet. Diet is a very, it's a misnomer. And there, I'm not talking about the popular diets, which you see keto, then crash diets and Dikshit diet and everything. I'm talking about anything which you eat. Anything which you eat has to be clean, clear, healthy, and good for your body, and satmya. This last word I uttered is a technical term from Ayurveda. Satmya is called as the one which you are used to. Satmya means which you are used to. Suppose I'll take an example of a Gujarati person because I have experienced the food in Gujarat for a long time. There is a very common thing at the breakfast like fafda and jalebi. Suppose you take it fafda and jalebi. If a person from a South India, somewhere near the Chennai, will keep on eating fafda and jalebi in the morning as a part of breakfast, what you will think, does that go? He will generate a lot of problems. Why? Why? Fafda and jalebi has no problem in it. Because it is not satmya. He's not been eating fafda and jalebi since his childhood. But a person born and brought up, or born and brought up anywhere, but the pattern of his eating is coherent from the childhood. He is eating fafda and jalebi from his childhood till the adulthood. So it's satmya for him. If you start eating any form, the example I would like to give is nowadays people, excuse me, nowadays people are eating a lot of foreign foods. Foreign means not coming imported, fancy food, master chef foods, like which with master chef recipes, which we don't prepare at home. We prepare roti, sabzi, dal, chawal daily as a common Indian diet. So altering your food totally to different things will increase your rajoguna in the body. Believe me. If you keep on doing this, it goes against the satmya thing. It is not satmya too, and it will there. This is a seed of lot of your problems. Every problem starts from the gut. Remember this. Anyone having fits, it starts from the gut. Why? Because whatever you are putting inside, it's getting transformed into something, and it is nourishing that part. Your brain is roti sabzi you ate some days ago. So that cells are getting nourished by the roti sabzi or anything else you have eaten. So your mind also is whatever you eat. And oh, you knew this, right? You say, oh, my mother and my grandfather used to say, oh, you are what you eat. But we never paid attention to it. We keep on, means of course, everyone likes it, but frequency also matters. So to summarize this discussion is take a food which will take you towards the sattva. How? Maintain that satma, whatever you are eating from the childhood, eat that. Rather than opting for something else to get well. It will not make you well. It will make you ill. So follow whatever you are eating since the childhood. The second part was of posture and of actions. I kept actions and posture part in the end of the discussion because it's more difficult and it's vast. Oh, because why it is difficult to make your actions sattvic, and who I am to tell you to be sattvic. Everyone is sattvic because we opt for something good. Everyone wants money. Why? Yeah, everyone do wants money because we buy food out of it, right? Basic things. I'm talking about food and pleasure means enjoyment. But that money we spend eventually for being healthy, in a sense. By eating, we make ourselves healthy better. So if we opt for something which is not coming from a healthy source, how it will be healthy, right? So our actions and our intentions towards doing something, means suppose I'm thinking about something, if they are not in line with well-being, with the purpose, with the intention, it will not give rise to its good results. Oh, it became a very complicated thing. Let me explain in a simple way how to make your actions more sattvic and more stable. So that thing could be achieved by understanding these characteristics, how a sattvic personality is. Where you will find it, I will suggest you to read for people, means Bhagavad Gita is the key source, I will say, to just to see the personality characteristics of actions. Those actions which are not harmful for ourselves, are not harmful for other people, they are pleasure giving, they are pure knowledge based, are usually sattvic. You doing something good only for you, how it will be sattvic? So that any good morality, moral principles, they are sattvic. Of course, they change a lot to a greater extent from person to person and situations to situations. But the unstable behavior, in the thought level as well, is a rajasic quality. So we are, alasya means laziness, and not doing anything, not attempting, giving a thought about it even, is a tamasic quality. So one who is very much unstable or very much action oriented person, very much action oriented, but no enough stability, and very much, lazy person, sort of, in short, a lazy person is a tamasic oriented. So from there, we are supposed to go towards stable and good actions. This applies to everything. This will lead you to sattvic actions. Okay, so last part is of postures. I would like to explain. This was about the actions. First part was food. Second was about the actions. How to make our actions more sattvic is to make like these characteristics: goodness, morality, following a moral. Now you'll say morals, they will change from person to person, right? But there are some moral means. If we see a hungry kid at the signal or something, if I offer some food to that hungry kid, how was my action? How you will assess that action? Is it a tamasic action? Is it a rajasic action? No, it's a sattvic action, right? We are doing a good thing. So what is good and bad? That makes your actions. So which is called as vivek. Our elders say us, you should know what is good and what is bad for you. So, but that is decided by how you grow up. Okay, so that was the part of actions, and last part is of postures, how you sit. Some bits we touched before also about sitting and looking at, but from health point of view, I would like to come with me and do some practice regarding asana. We will do a simple asana, like you're sitting, suppose. I will suggest you to sit in a chair or on a couch or on a bed, and we will see how your postures could be sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So are you with me? We will practice this, and then we will do a question answer session, and then we will end up. Okay? So are you ready for doing some asana? Of course, the meditative asana means just sitting, but some rajasic, tamasic, and sattvic postures will practice. Okay? Vijaya ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'll just shift my camera from the other things. Just a second.
Why don't you? I told her, why don't you create the application?
Are you able to see me?
No, ma'am. Your video is off.
No, I have logged in from other part. I mean, from the other device.
Another device. Let me check. By the same name?
Yeah, with the same name. Have you found?
I think you are also co-host, so I think you can just spotlight yourself. I'm not able to see you.
Okay. How to spotlight?
Yeah. I found you. I'll just do that. Yeah.
Okay. So I hope now you all are able to see me, right? In full?
Yeah. Yes.
There is some kind of notification. No, not from here. See, the posture part I had wanted to explain. That is why I opted this thing. Now you are able to see me in full, right? Suppose if I opt a posture like this for a meditation, right? Or you're sitting like this. I'll show you from the sideways. You can literally see my drooping shoulders and my face looking down. You can easily classify it as a tamasic posture. Okay. Second, if some people I have observed while meditation, suppose ma'am or sir is taking some meditation sessions, and they are not usually means that sometimes they are not following the instructions or commands, and they're keeping the postures. Means alternatively changing the postures and doing or touching your body parts. Continuously movement, you can literally feel that it goes into the Rajasic part. You got that? And a person who is stable in the posture, right? Like this. You're stable. You have seen all the goddesses. Of course, they are being the stone, they cannot move, but the expressions on their face are very, they are very sattvic. So I can ask all of you to sit in a sattvic posture always, whenever it is instructed to sit in a meditative pose. So like this, I would ask everyone to sit where, first of all. So sit in any cross-leg posture. If you're not able to sit in a cross-leg posture, you can sit on a chair. But the important instruction is not to move. Some people have pain if they don't move and they cannot sit at one place for a longer time. They have some pain in their lower back or something. So you may consider this is an increase of Vata dosha. Take Basti or take any Vatagna treatment. It will get relieved and you will be able to sit properly. This was the solution. And now you can sit like this, stable. No moving, no change, even if you are changing your posture for the good things also. Some people, what they do, if they are doing Jnana Mudra, they feel like suddenly, oh, I should do this. This is a better one. Or this. So changing, shifting of the posture, touching whether I'm looking good or not, continuously touching, moving. This tells a person in front of you about that you are being Rajasic. At that point, at that moment. No other test in this world can tell you this, whether what you are actually thinking in your mind. Ancient sciences can easily say, oh, you are being Rajasic. So, why you feel like, because at the body level, there might be some increase in Vata dosha. This is the reason if we try to analyze why people feel like changing the postures, because of the increased Vata dosha. Or at the mind level, increase Rajoguna. So always try to sit straight, hands relaxed, postures, hands relaxed. Means people have more difficulty in relaxing than attaining some asana. So relaxation, it's very difficult for some people. So relaxing and being stable at the same time is a tricky thing nowadays because of the way we eat, the way we cook what we eat. That is also important. But that there could be a discussion of 2-3 hours how we cook and what we are eating, the food preparation point of view. But as of now, what we are talking about is a posture that tells a lot of about your mind as well. So if you are lazy, that will droop in. If you are very much raja or very much movement, have instability at any level, body or mind, it will be means it will be visible from the your posture. So, and if you are sattvic, or if you are at least trying to be, and your journey has been started, so if you really want to increase the concentration, increase the you want to get into the topic, you want to know it, just be stable in whatever you are doing in it. So this was all about which practice I was about to take. So this was the only practice to follow the instruction which I was talking about. I did not really give the instructions because you all are learned people. So this was it from me today. I will again come from the other device which I was talking from. But the practice point of view, I had wanted to tell you this. We will take question answer sessions from the other side. Give me 2-3 seconds.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And the hard part for me, question answers. You can ask any questions.
Anybody?
Anyone who would like to ask anything regarding Tridosh, Triguna? Sorry.
Please go ahead.
If you're not even
Pranjali,
understood the topic or something, or you want more clarification, you can ask me.
any doubt there? Anything you want to know a little more about the Trigunas and the
how you felt
doshas?
about the session as well. Anything else?
Hello, ma'am.
I'll talk in bit. Can I?
Not
Yes,
able
I'm
yes.
Pranjali here.
Yes, please go
Okay.
ahead.
Yes. Can I see? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
It was amazing. One thing, now I know certain times why I said can I talk? Because now I know, see, I have a Rajasic gun. So I want to talk so that Rajasic gun I have. I want to go towards Sattvic side. So as sir had told me, I should not talk much, but now let me ask certain questions as I have Rajasic gun.
Okay.
To go towards Sattvic gun, food is also more component in that you have to eat particular food, then only you transform yourself, or food doesn't play that much role. It is your mind which is more important there.
Okay, you have one question, right? This is your question.
I'll tell you, being a yogic person right now, at least I am eating tamasic food. Certain times I'm eating tamasic food too.
Certain times, yes.
Yes, not every day. Nobody
word
eats tamasic food every day. But yes, I do have tamasic food. So are we supposed to completely curtail those food activities and go over to have that nature of our?
I would like to give an example for this. See, suppose there are offers, the offers they give on on the products you use. Suppose you take, you give this much of money, you will get the full benefit out of it. Suppose upon these data offers or something, mobile data offers. And if you pay less amount of money, you will get less data. This works in that simple way. What are the answer of your question in this? If you really want to go on a spiritual journey, you are able to do that. Not all people are able to do that. Even if you decide suppose you're bound in a family, to leave the family bondage and to leave the food even and to arrange something different only for yourself is a difficult thing to do in practical aspect. So to achieve the 100% data, you need to pay the 100% in advance and in full amount. So if you are the answer for your question is, if you really want to go on a sattvic person, yes, the first answer for your question is yes, you are supposed to curtail all the packaged foods. It should be self-cooked or why self-cooked? I'll give an answer for this also. It has to be self-cooked, really, and then it has to be fresh. The ingredients used, the way it is made, these things. This is not I'm telling about my mind. It has references in the ancient text, and it has those sattvic effects if you really do that. But there is a big but, big B-U-T, that yes, if you're able to do it, it's great. But even if you have something to achieve, you would want to go on that path, though you don't go on the top of the Everest. You would like to see the Everest from the far away, right? Near to the base. Oh, I saw the Everest. You'll get the satisfaction, right? So by going towards it also, if you curtail some very, very common things, if you not fall for some really bad things, if suppose I'll give you an example, you have a kitchen in your home, but still you're preferring. I'm telling not only to you, everyone, that we prefer to go outside very frequently. You're eating very tamasic and rajasic food, which has been prepared days back. That gravies are prepared long back, and they're using the gravies and giving away beautiful dish to you. Will it cause that effect, which is freshly cooked, the ingredients which we know, the hands which we know who have prepared it, the mind with which the food has been prepared? Can you compare the benefits of this data plan and that data plan? Yes, you can easily compare that. So to avail the 100% benefits, yes, you are supposed to curtail it, but if it is possible for you, this should not be something which has been forced. The journey towards the self cannot be forced. It should come from inside, and then only you will be able to take the efforts for it. So I hope I would have satisfied you with my answer.
Yeah.
It has impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we had another question from Sangeeta Agarwal.
Yes.
If I hope Sangeeta is there.
Yes, ma'am, I'm listening.
Yeah. So you can go ahead with your question.
Am I able to see Sangeeta, ma'am?
Can you highlight? Yeah, put your video on.
Yes. I'm in the kitchen, so I.
No problem. You are at a great place. Food is very important.
Yeah.
Cal, from how should I see you?
Yeah. You wanted to ask if Vata is movement and it is good, why it is known as dosha?
Yes.
Like why Vata dosha?
Dosha, I told in the starting as well,
yes.
But I'll repeat. I would like to repeat because while I was learning, I did not understood that for 2 years of my graduation. Like, wow, how it is called? It is called as Dushanti dosha. This is called as the Nirukti, the definition of dosha word. I told that the dosh word is not meant as a fault. Dosh means Dushayanti, means the one which when get disturbed, he himself get disturbed. If that thing get disturbed, it disturbs the other things. This is what you will say. What disturbs? Who disturbs? how you can formulate. Can you grab the air like this? Oh, air, but you feel it, right? Vata dosha is the same. The air which is
Yes.
outside, loka purusha samya, means we have a say in Marathi, pindi te brahmandi, means whatever is outside, whatever is in universal consciousness, it's there in the individual consciousness. Same way, the air which represented in the air which is outside, it's there inside, which is the Vata dosha. Why it is the second question for your answer for your second question is why it is good or bad. It's not good or bad, it's just there. It's neither good nor bad, it's doing its function because it's a part of prakriti, it's a part of nature, it's just doing the function, right? So air in the outside world is air element, the vayu mahabhut, the great gross element inside our body is a vata dosha, which is a formative of our body. So it's not bad thing. It's a thing which makes us. Will you say, "Oh, my stomach is bad"? Oh, no, you'll not say it is a stomach. It's doing its function. It's an organ. You cannot classify anyone's stomach. You saw the stomach. It's a good or bad. It's a thing which exists. Same way, a vata dosha, a one which makes movement, it's a thing which exists, which makes us. What is the function of vata dosha? Is to do any movement. So stomach movement, you can feel the stomach movements. Stomach movements, they come under the vata dosha. Like this. Yes,
Thank you so
I
much.
hope I would have
Okay.
satisfied.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Welcome.
It
Yes.
was an amazing session. I have
you.
one question.
Yes,
So
sure.
I want to know that since you're a pediatrician, so how
Yes.
can we channelize the energies of the kid who is, say, Rajasic dominant or Tamasic dominant? Because at that age, we cannot expect someone to be very calm or lead towards Sattva. So
Very good question. How to transform a Rajasic kid into a Sattvic? See, if you do a meditation in French language, it will be same, right? Only the instructions will be in the French, right? I might be giving an example really out of box, I feel. In the same way, the rituals of sitting stable, sitting calm, and concentrating on your breath will be same in each and every culture, right? So same practices which we do for adults are okay for the kids, but the way of telling them should be very friendly. To channelize, the word which you used is a very good word. We need to channelize their energies. Means Rajasa, you cannot cannot literally take out Rajasa guna and throw it out. It is needed. Otherwise, he'll not move. He'll not feel like doing. He'll be totally tamasa, right? So we need to control the Rajasic gun by making him stable, making him sit, making some activities which will make him interested. I hope, suppose a kid is Rajasic, means he's continuously moving here and there, or his thought processes are not very stable. Yes, the commonest mothers which complain, oh, he is not paying attention in the studies. He is not attaining good marks. Marks is not an evaluation criteria. The kid not being interested in whatever is going on is a criteria. So make something or change that kid or take that kid to something which interests him. Something do interest him. That way, the kids who don't like to study, they like to play. So they are good at the grounds. This is very common thing. And some people might be, some people sitting over here, they would have experienced this. Like that, oh, I also used to love sports. Writing essays and papers and studies, I was not very good at just being there. So That is how we channelize their energy. So let him do something which makes him interested in that. That way he will attain the satvika. Getting interested is also a gun of sattvic personality. So he is going towards sattvic. Though he is playing, he is interestingly doing that. Will channelize his or her energies, and that will take him to the study as well. He will study.
Yeah, I would like to ask something.
The interest has been achieved from some.
So this is how we can channelize and make him
Thank
sattvic.
you. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Arjun sir, yeah, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Doctor, your lecture was fantastic, establishing correlation between Vata, Pitta, Kapha and Rajas, Samad and Tamas and Sattvic. As per this Ayurveda, what I understood is people when we take birth, we are dominated by certain thing, one of the three, either Vata or Pitta or Kapha. And
It's
then
Kapha.
suppose we want to
Yes.
make progress in yoga and spirituality, what we have in our hand is only diet or food. By taking particular type of food, we will develop ourselves. I may be a Vata person. I want to develop in spirituality. I will go for Sattvic diet. I may be a Pitta dominated person. I will go for Sattvic diet or mix of Sattvic and Rajasic, whatever it may be. Am I correct? Or if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Okay. Yes, the concept which you understood is correct. Like for going towards spiritual journey or going for the well-being, we will say common term will be for well-being, mental as well as physical. If you have knee pain, if you don't feel good, like walking or going for some activity, so well-being, going towards sattvika thing, which sattva guna comes from the food you uttered, like not only from diet, from everything which we do in actions also part we said, from the sitting part, everywhere, means your actions and food, they may in both of them, if you will go for sattvic things, yes, you can certainly become sattvic. And there is no means I would like to add, there is no like end point. Oh, today I became a sattvic thing. Not like that. It's a process. It goes on, and you feel it. The best part is you feel it. Oh, your responses changes. Suppose a stress situation for which you were like literally full of anger, but after doing meditation, by you doing some good things like there is a good reference of dana, giving selflessly. Those references all are regarding making you sattvic. Can you give something which is very dear and near to you to someone who is needy? It's a tyaga, right? It's like giving something which is very near, not the bad thing. Mujhe nahi chahiye to de dete. This is not sattvic. The one which you feel like, oh, I eat good food, I'll give someone good food. That food which I eat is tyaga, and it will lead to your sattvic things. So actions and as well as your eating, whatever you are eating, both of them will make you sattvic.
Thank you.
And for Prakriti Parikshana, like whether you are Vatik, whether you are Pitic, Kapha or Sannipatic, means it's a mixed Prakriti or double Prakriti, that you can assess. There are certain means you can assess from an Ayurvedic doctor, or on the internet also there are various scales, or for a reference or original reference you may refer to the Vagbhat Samhita or Ashtanga Hridayam, which is the basic text of Ayurveda, one of the basic texts of Ayurveda, and inside that you will find the characteristics of Vata person, Pitta person, Kapha person, characteristics. So you can assess from that.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Yes. Thank you. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Any more questions?
Yes.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with Marathi?
Yes,
I would
I'm
like
comfortable with
to
Marathi.
question in Marathi.
Sure. हो चालेल.
तुम्ही आतापर्यंत जे काय सांगितलं त्यातलं मला काही जास्त कळलं नाही.
Okay.
माझा व्यवसाय जरा वेगळा आहे. परंतु मला प्रश्न असा पडलेला आहे की जसं जसं नाऊ आय एम 66. जसं जसं वय वाढत जातं तसं तसं हे तामसी गुण कमी होत जातात.
सात्विक गुण कमी होत जातात असं म्हणू
काय जे
शकतो.
असेल ते. परंतु मला आता असा प्रॉब्लेम आहे की माझ्यामध्ये रेस्टलेसनेस फार आहे. म्हणजे वयोमानाने पाहिलं तरी देखील तो त्या प्रमाणात जास्तच आहे. तर यासाठी काय करावं?
ओके, चांगला प्रश्न आहे तुमचा. I will answer in Marathi to him. Those who are able to understand Marathi, they will understand it. I'll explain what he asked and what I answered into English and Hindi as well after the discussion. तुमचा जो प्रश्न होता की तुमचा वयोमानानुसार जो रेस्टलेसनेस आहे तो वाढतो. तर रेस्टलेसनेस हा डायरेक्टली रजोगुणाची कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक आहे आणि तुम्हाला करायचं काय आहे तर तुम्हाला स्टेबल बनवायचं स्वतःला आणि ते तुम्हाला जास्ती फिट बनवेल. इन शॉर्ट, तुम्हाला स्टेबल कसं बनवायचं तर तुम्ही योगासनांचा अभ्यास करा. योगासनांचा अभ्यास करताना तो हळूहळू जर केला आपण तर त्या अभ्यास करण्यामध्ये म्हणजे तुम्ही सपोज कुठलं आसन करताय, ताडासन करताय किंवा पश्चिमोत्तानासन करताय, ही आसनं करताना हळूहळू त्या आसनांमध्ये जायचं, तिथे स्टेबल व्हायचं, ती आसनं होल्ड करायचा प्रयत्न करायचा की ते जितकं तुमची बॉडी कपॅसिटी असेल आणि त्याच्यातनं परत येताना पण हळूहळू परत यायचं. त्या आसनांना जिम एक्सरसाइजेस सारखं नाही करायचं. तो तर तुमच्या प्रत्येक ऍक्शन मध्ये जर तुम्ही ही आणली, तुम्ही एखादा डिसिजन घ्या, तुम्हाला असं वाटतं रेस्टलेस आहे, तर प्रत्येक ठिकाणी माइंडफुलनेस म्हणजे तिथं मनाने त्या ऍक्शन मध्ये असणं. माइंडफुलनेस म्हणजे हेच की मनाने त्या ऍक्शन मध्ये असणं. तुम्ही सपोज गाडी चालवताय, गाडी चालवताना मन गाडी चालवताकडेच असलं पाहिजे. बऱ्याच वेळा आपण हिंडत वेगळीकडे असतो. ही हा एक्सपिरियन्स आहे. माझं पण असं होतं, बऱ्याच लोकांचं असं होतं की आपण मनाने वेगळ्या ठिकाणी असतो. दॅट लीड्स टू मिस्टेक्स आणि दॅट इन्क्रीजेस द रेस्टलेसनेस मोर. त्यामुळे रेस्टलेसनेस बिईंग माइंडफुल, तुम्ही त्या क्षणी त्या ऍक्शनच्या इथे असणं हा तुमचा रेस्टलेसनेस कमी करू शकतो. मला वाटतं तुमच्या प्रश्नाचं उत्तर.
थँक्यू डॉक्टर. थँक्यू डॉक्टर.
नमस्ते. I would like to explain. Yes, I'll explain in English. He asked that he's becoming restless day by day because of his age, and what to do. You don't want any theoretical answer, but what to do to remove the restlessness, though it is increasing by the age, because age is going to increase. So I gave an answer like, you are supposed to practice yogasana, and also a person suppose don't like yogasana, doing yogasana, you practice being mindful. So mindfulness can be practiced even while you are in the toilet. Mindful how many people? There might be millions of people who will raise their hands or who will say yes, that they do not do the toilet mindfully. You will say what you're talking. Most of the times when we are excreting, when we are means even it's the smallest things. If you are washing your face or in the toilet, we are thinking by mind, we are somewhere else. We are not there at that moment. So being there at that moment will reduce your restlessness. Satvika is nothing. You're getting knowledge means you're washing your face. You're literally able to feel that coldness of the water. If you're washing your face with the cold water, literally the coldness of your water, your mind is there. You're getting knowledge. Means sattva is getting knowledge. So you're getting knowledge of that coldness. Means your mind is there. You're not thinking what I'll do, where is the towel, how I'll wipe it, whether I have a towel or not. No, nowhere else. Your mind being there is sattva. So this is how you will reduce the you will be able to reduce the restlessness. This is what the answer I gave to him.
सर मुकुंद सर, तुम्ही आमचा योगा क्लास जॉईन करू शकता. मंडे टू फ्रायडे आमचे क्लास असतात 6 वाजता.
मॅडम तुमचा ऍड्रेस कळवा की क्लासचा.
अहो झूम वर आहे सर.
ऑनलाईन नाही, ऑनलाईन वर माझा काही जास्त विश्वास नाही मॅडम. आता हे चालू असतानाच ते नेट कनेक्शन 3-4 वेळा बंद झालं.
ऑफलाईन तर सध्या तरी लवकर नाहीच होणार आहे, तर तुम्ही ऑनलाईन वर या.
पण ते काय डिस्टन्स ठेवून वगैरे नाही काय करणं शक्य?
अजून काय गव्हर्नमेंटचं तसं अनाउन्समेंट आलेले नाहीयेत. ते जेव्हा सुरू करतील तेव्हा सांगतील, तेव्हाच आपण
बरं.
करू शकतो.
बरं.
तर तोपर्यंत ऑनलाईन वर या तुम्ही आणि प्रॅक्टिस करा.
येस मॅम, थँक्यू.
So, any more questions or else we will
I
wind up.
have one question.
Yes.
Hi, Saili. It
Yeah,
was very
fine.
informative. Actually, my question is somewhat related to Mukund uncle, as he told you about his restlessness. But with my parents, it's quite opposite. They are becoming tamasic with their age. So how to
Okay.
channelize their energy, and they are not even ready to perform yogasana and trying. So what to do with them? Just
Yes, I mean the answer will be same.
If the parents are tamas, means they are not ready.
Something like that, like yogasana, they are not ready. You need to make them realize. You need to pinch them. Means why you? I'll give an answer for this, because you are able to see that this is happening. You are sattvic, so you are able to see. You're getting the knowledge that this person is being tamasic, and which is not good for them. So you can pinch them continuously. That is how, see, a person who is lazy. If you're continuously pinching them, that person gets irritated. So you will agree with me, that person will shift from tamasic to rajasic. Oh, what are you doing? Don't do that. So he will do something, right? Same way, you, by calling them. You went, did you went for a walk? Went you for a grocery store? Oh, you brought that. You continuously pinching them will increase the rajasic. And someday, oh, no, she's literally, no, keep pinching them about, oh, you did that, oh, you did that. You being cool and calm. You don't get disturbed. And you continuously pinch them for doing something. That tamasic nature will get converted into rajasic, and they'll do something. They will do a yoga class for at least 5 days. It's boring, but at least they'll do. So you need to increase the dose of pinching. Oh, you did it, attended it. This is how it works, maybe. And when they'll realize, oh, I got that knee pain got reduced. Oh, that back pain got reduced. They will themselves get the taste of sattvicness. They'll get the knowledge. Oh, this thing is causing this goodness. Then automatically they will opt for it. They themselves will try to be rajasic. They'll wake up. They'll put an alarm. Oh, I have to do that because I got that result. Then you need not to call them for increasing their rajasicness. They will themselves will do. But till then, you need to be sattvic and cool and calm and pinch them on the foot.
okay. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Any more questions?
So thank you so much, Dr. Saili. That was a wonderful session, and I hope the talk has brought little more understanding in the Trigunas and the Tridoshas, and it was very well explained to make the layman understand it.
Yes.
Because
I hope
at every level the understanding is different. So she really brought it at a very to make the masses understand it. And it's not that in a day you understand it, but it will take little more practice and little more understanding about it. But definitely it has paved the way. So thank you so much. So let's wind up here.
Having me. Yes.
And we'll go for just Shanti here. 3 Shantis. Just close your eyes. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Thank you very much. And tomorrow we have Kashinath Maitri sir coming here and speaking about the importance of yoga from physical to spiritual level. So please be there. Tomorrow will be the concluding session of this lecture series. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vijay ma'am, and thank you all of you for patiently listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful session.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Sally.
you.
Thank you, Vijaya ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Jagdish
Welcome.
doctor.
It was a pleasure all being here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you, Bhavini. Vijaya ma'am, should
Yeah.
I quit the meeting?
Yeah.
or leave the
Please,
meeting?
please. Yeah, you can leave, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you. Thank you. See you.
I think sir was little busy. Reena ji.